Welcome back to the BQ Daily Show, where I document the day-to-day of personal growth, building discipline, raising the standard, building a business from the ground up, and sharing my perspective on all of it as I go. I've committed to doing one of these every single day up until episode 7305, which will be the 20-year anniversary of the show. My goal with all of this is to showcase the day-to-day of a man who desires more out of life, who refuses to quit. And it is my hope that through documenting the journey, it will inspire, help, guide, or serve as proof for anyone looking to get more out of life as well. If I can do it, so can you. You just have to start. So I actually recorded about 8 minutes worth of content today of the podcast while I was driving for FedEx. But about 8 minutes in, I realized that the sound was so shit. I'm sure it was. I actually listened to it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still shit. So I decided to just kind of scrap the whole thing. I was getting distracted with work and losing my train of thought left and right. So I scrapped that, and I'm just going to restart here. So it's 10:30 p.m. It's March 23rd, 2024. And here's what I said earlier. Here's the thoughts that I had earlier. So the more I think about the amount of time that I am going to have, or that I do have right now to work on shit, whether that's business or to personally develop or to read or to record a podcast or to write stuff, the more that I think about that, the time that I have for all of those things, the more I just value so highly keeping my energy just protected at all costs. And what I mean by that is, so there's like your physical energy, there's a mental energy, social energy, whatever. There's just so many different, I guess, categories. And so for me, so here's the example that I remember talking about earlier. So when I'm at work at FedEx specifically, I really, really beat myself up when I don't reach a certain stops per hour mark. I've always tried to keep that at 30 stops per hour, which is a pretty good pace. There's some areas where you can get up to 35, 36, and then there's other areas where you can really crank that shit and hit 40. And in Colorado, there was even places where you could get close to 50, and that's just so goddamn quick. If you're a FedEx driver or a UPS driver, Amazon, you know. And 50, that's unrealistic most of the time. 40 is, it depends. 30 is I think it's a good pace to strive for. 30 stops an hour is 310 hours, which is a fat payday. So anyway, relative to the work you do. But anyway, so I try so hard to maintain 30 an hour. And this is so ridiculous, but even if I'm at 29, I beat the shit out of myself. I feel so, I'm not satisfied, whatever. Even if I do hit 30, I'm like, wow, why don't I hit 31, you know? It's honestly, for me, it's like, if I'm at 33, it's like, the fuck am I doing? And I'm really disappointed in myself. It's like, wow, I suck. I'm so slow. This day's going to be forever. And the truth of all of this is, if I work for 5 hours and it takes me, let's just do some simple, I'm going to exaggerate the numbers just for simple math. So let's say I'm doing 40 stops an hour and I have 200 stops. So that's 5 hours, because 40 times 5, it's 200. If I'm doing 40 stops an hour, it's going to take me 5 hours. But if I'm going, quote unquote, slow that day and I'm beating myself up and I'm only doing 36 stops an hour, or 35, we'll just say 35, then by the end of that 5 hours that I would have normally done the 200 stops, I will have only done 375. And so at that pace, that would only add about 37 and a half minutes to my day. And now, is that a big deal? No, it's not. But the amount of stress that I put on myself throughout the day, because I felt so slow and so inefficient and I was just a piece of shit, whatever. And these are really the thoughts that go through my head. If I don't hit a certain mark, I just feel like a piece of garbage. I really do. It's just like, wow, I'm slow. People are probably beating me back to the terminal now, you know? And that's really how it is. But it only adds 37 and a half minutes to my day. Is it that bad? Is that addition to my day worth the mental fatigue of beating myself up for 5 hours straight? Is that worth it? No, it's not. And that's just an extreme example with exaggerated numbers for easy math. So usually it's about 6 hours. So if I'm beating myself up mentally for 6 straight hours, I'm going to be fatigued mentally by the time I'm off. And that's the point of what I'm talking about. I only have so much time per day. to allocate to other tasks that I deem more important than what I've got going on. My priorities are all out of whack, according to society. I'm very out of balance, according to society. So, even more so, I'd like to... Okay, so I'm getting off track here. I need to protect the energy that I have, because I don't want to have to go home and take a nap and then wake up and then take a night. I just want to be able to get home from a long day at work and just immediately start executing. And now, not every day is going to be that way, but I can definitely optimize towards that. I can definitely make the effort to make it as easy as possible for me to put in more effort. And so that got me thinking today of how I could do that. And so today, my first hour, I got 28 stops an hour, and I thought, dude, oh my fuck, I'm so sick of these slow ass areas, you know? And then that's when the thoughts started trickling in. And I'm like, you know what, dude? What if I just stopped caring? What if I just stopped putting so much weight on how many stops I do per hour, and I just focused on, I don't know, if I just focused on just going and not stopping? What if I just focused on that? Because that would make it so I don't feel so drained at the end of the day, because I was so slow and it was such a drag and it was a bad day. It was so hard and difficult, you know, because we're talking about adding 30 minutes here to the end of the day if you go a little bit slower, you know? So I started thinking about that with other areas of life. What other things am I doing that cause me such mental fatigue that it burns so much energy that I'm just fried by the end of the day? And the reason why I got started thinking about all this is because the last few days I've gotten home from work and I've just been so exhausted for no reason. It's like I didn't even do anything, but I'm just fried. And a few days ago I dropped an episode and I talked about how I didn't do anything, and because of my lack of action I was beating myself up, so therefore I guess exerting more mental energy to be disappointed in myself and to feel like a lazy fuck that I didn't even do anything further, because I was fried, because I was disappointed, because it's just a cycle. And so I was like, okay, well, what if I just stopped caring about how many stops I do per hour? What if I just focused on the next stop and I just kept going? I didn't stop. I kept a good pace. What if I just didn't even look at how many stops I had? I just went. I make a guess. Okay, I'm probably going to be off by 4. And if I'm off by 3, great. If I'm off by 5, so be it. And like I just said, it got me thinking about other areas of life. So what can I do to maximize the return on investment for the effort that I put in, but minimize the energy spent for those things? And so okay, hold on. I actually recorded it, said I wasn't going to share anything, but it's right here. Hold on.
The more I'm
right here
thinking of how I can minimize energy output, maximize ROI on the effort that I put in, as well as what I can do to, I guess, save energy. I guess I said that twice.
I don't even know what. So yeah, so that's the goal right there. So like I said a million times already, I was just thinking of other ways I could do that. So I could stop looking at the stop count. I could stop caring about going quote unquote slow. I could stop worrying about trying to park in the perfect spot. I could just stop worrying about all of that. I could just drive to the house, park near the house, grab the box, go to it, and then just get back to the truck. I started being concerned with my lower back health. I was like, damn, dude, I hurt my back last week. What if this is it? Oh shit, dude, I'm gonna have to find another job. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Now I'm not gonna have all this extra income to put towards business. Oh shit, I'm really strapping myself thin here. Fuck, that's what's going through my head. And it's costing me so much energy, and I'm getting nothing in return for it. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. And with my full-time job at Hill Air Force Base, I think the things that have been exhausting me more so lately, more than any time else while I'm up there, is when I present a new idea and it's shot down without thought, even though it is a good idea, and the other person doesn't really consider the possibility or what could happen or the alternatives. They just try to shoot it down. And whether they're trying to be funny or whether they're actually just being a fucking asshole, doesn't matter. It's the fact that I have to have that thick skin, I guess, and be like, oh, No, you think it's a bad idea? Oh, you think I'm a dork? Oh, okay. And for me, it just bothers me. It's more of an annoyance and an irritation for me. I've always said this, but anything that targets intellect for me, I just take it too personal. I wouldn't say I'm offended, but it bothers me. You can call me fat, ugly, stupid, or I guess not stupid. You can call me, for the example, fat, ugly, stupid, too white, fat nose, ugly hair, whatever. But if you say I'm dumb, or I didn't understand something, or I it's like, dude, no, I did. No, I know, And you can call it some ego. Maybe I need some humility. I don't know, but it's always bothered me, and I think I've shared that 2 or 3 times already in the last 150 episodes. So yeah, there's some shit you can use against me to whoever hates me out there who's listening. So anyway, so does that mean I need to stop doing those things because they cost so much energy for me, mental energy, having to deal with that and pretend like it doesn't bother me because it's just so annoying. And then, like, what other things cost a lot of energy? So this whole thing's going on way too long. All I'm trying to say is what things cost the most energy and how can I make them cost less, or how can I just get rid of them altogether? Because I want to be able to go home and have the most amount of energy that I can to work on my own shit. Because it's so easy to get home and then you just be like, oh, I'm going to take a nap. And maybe you take a nap, you feel great afterward, but it's like, well, now I only have 2 hours, so I don't have 3 anymore, so I'll just sit here for a minute and I'll start at the 30-minute mark. 30-minute mark rolls around. It's like, it's just that bullshit, man. It's just lazy shit. And so yeah, it just got me thinking. Just got me going down little pathways in my brain. Like, how can I make certain things easier or harder? What things do I like to do that arguably do cost a lot of energy? That I just enjoy doing so much that it's worth it, And so that's kind of the thought process. I'm not really polished off with a lot of these thoughts that I have. And so when I come to share them on here, it probably sounds like I'm rambling and I don't have a really collected, polished, well thought out thought. But the point of this particular podcast is not to be perfect or to have anything necessarily nice or to be this or that or to be professional or to whatever. The point is to document everything and to share the thoughts, the wins, the losses, what I'm thinking, what I'm going through as I embark on all of this. Because like I've said before, so this is episode 155, I think, and I haven't started shit. It started shit that I talk about wanting to start, such as the business. So everything else, I guess I'm on my way. I mean, fucking 5 months straight of recording a podcast. That's pretty cool. So I do look forward to recording these. It's a little bit of a therapy session for me because I don't really have friends, and it makes you sound like such a loner, but it's true, man. I don't really have friends or family that I feel like I could talk to. I've got a few family members. I take that back, but I don't know, man. I hate trying to talk to somebody, but they need the context to understand what I'm talking about, and then having to explain that context. I'd rather just not say shit to anybody ever because I don't want to explain. I don't want to give them a 40-minute background story of one scenario to then ask advice or something. 40 minutes to provide the context of the situation, and then them not even understand that, and then them try to give me some bullshit advice, If you don't know, okay, side note, if you don't know, don't act like you do. Say, hey, I'm not sure. I'll find out, though. That's the end of that side note. But, yeah, here's another thought that I had. I'm going to share it real quick, and that's probably going to be the show. But I was driving, and I thought about this. So, and this is nothing related to anything I've talked about already. So, wishing for the reward wouldn't give you the same feeling of accomplishment or satisfaction as going through the struggles to attain that reward. And it's the same exact reason why people read books, like nonfiction and sci-fi, fantasy, whatever. If what they wanted was the outcome, which was knowing what happens in the story, and nothing else, they would just look up a book summary on SparkNotes, or they use ChatGPT. If that's what they wanted, that's why you read a book, right? If that's what you wanted, was to know what happens, then you would just Google the summary. But the thing is, people don't. It's about the mystery and the emotional roller coaster and the things that the characters undergo, or what you undergo as a result of reading. It's the unknown, the predictive aspects, the relatability, whatever, to the story. And so what fun is it to see a book, look up a summary, and then just know everything, and you don't have to read it? Like, what do you stand to gain from that? So that was just one of the thoughts I had, because a lot of people wish they had this or wish they had that, and it's like, do you wish you had that? Because like, that's why people read books, you know. People read these science fiction books because they like the mystery aspect. They love the learning the characters. They love the struggle or the cliffhangers or the whatever of the book itself. If it's a long one, it's going to take longer. It's like, damn, I wonder what's going to happen next. But it's funny because people read to the end so they know what happens in the end. But you could just look up a summary and get the same thing. But people don't do that because it doesn't give them the same effect. It's not the same thing at all. So if you want something bad enough, I think it's important to want to go through the shit, to go through the journey. It's so cliche to talk about, but the more I learn about it and just self-discover for my own self here, it really is the journey. It really is the struggles and the hardships that you go through to get to where you're trying to go. Because if I wished for a Lamborghini and I got one, I wouldn't appreciate it as much. I wouldn't be as proud of it as much. I probably wouldn't even drive it because I didn't earn it. I see it as a status symbol, more of something that you earn rather than something that you're just gifted. And so I would kind of feel like a fraud. It's like, yeah, I have this nice ass car, but a genie gave it to me. So that's how I see it. I'm sure somebody would get that and drive the shit out of it. But it's just, for me, it's a little bit different. But anyway, that's one of the thoughts I had. So I do my best to write these down as they come to me. Sometimes I feel like they're really good. I do feel like this one's a good analogy. And then other ones I get, I'm like, oh, this is great. I write it down. I reflect on it later. And I'm like, damn, dude, this was not a complete thought. What the fuck am I talking about here? But anyway, said a lot of nothing in this one, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's it. That's it for this one. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Hopefully someone out there is getting some value from this. Hopefully someone is learning or finding some kind of relatability to me, or I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. So I'm going to end the show there. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. And as a daily reminder, this podcast does not focus on sound, quality, or professionalism as much as it does just getting a message out, sharing the wins and losses of the day, and just documenting the day-to-day through it all. So if you want to keep up with me, it would be awesome if you could give the show a follow on the platform you're listening on, as well as a rating or review. Support this early on goes such a long way. So thanks again, and I'll see you tomorrow.